Starting a podcast sounds easy, but building one that actually grows, gets attention, and creates real opportunity, now that's a different ballgame. In this episode, I sit down with Andrew Weiss of Weiss Wisdom. We get into what it really takes to launch and scale a podcast, the mistakes most people make early on, and how to actually turn it into something that drives real, meaningful results. We also touched on accountability, mindset, and why most people stay stuck, even though they know exactly what they need to do. If you've ever thought about starting a podcast, or you already have one and it's not quite where you want it to be, this one's going to give you some clarity. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy.
This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Jeremy Wolf.
Something like 5 million podcasts have been started, but only about 10% are actually still active. Andrew, why do you think so many podcasts die?
Oh, it's a variety of reasons. A lot of people don't have systems in place to do it long term. A lot of people don't know why they start a podcast in the first place. A lot of people don't have the accountability, the vision, the why behind their podcast, for why they want to keep going. And so it's the people who are consistent, who keep showing up year after year. Those are the ones who really stand out when it comes to building their audience, to monetizing, to getting more clients. And they're missing out on a huge opportunity to be a consistent podcaster and be a trustworthy influencer in the space.
Wow, that was a loaded response. You went through like 10 different things, and I'm trying to like track everything. I think one of the things that you mentioned that resonated and stood out with me right away was the consistency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that a lot of people, they have certain expectations about what it is to start podcasting and what it means and what results you're going to get. And then they start doing it, and maybe they're consistent at first, but like anything else, you don't see the results right away, and time goes, and then on to the next thing. I think that might be, in my mind, the number one factor why people aren't able to continue or aren't able to get anything resonating.
Yeah. It's you really do need to make it a habit. You need to put the time in your calendar. I mean, if you are serious about using your podcast to grow your business, to grow your influence, it shouldn't be a question of whether you do it each week or each month. Just like hopefully you don't question, Jeremy, whether you brush your teeth each day. like you don't go to bed going, oh, I guess I'll skip brushing my teeth tonight. Like that shouldn't be an option, essentially. So for those who see the value and the potential in podcasting, like it shouldn't be a question. Yeah, of course I'm going to release and that's the beauty of having your own podcast, Jeremy, is you get to be the boss. You get to be the captain. Like you get to decide, hey, do I want my podcast to be 5 minutes? Do I want my podcast to be 2 hours? Do I want to release a podcast every week, every day? Do I want to release it just once a month and call it good? Just like all the podcasting industry asks that you do something consistently. And the beauty of the industry as well is you can just pre-record the content. So you get all your work done on one day a month, then you schedule out the episode for the rest of the month and not stress about it. So there's a lot of ways to make sure you're consistent without stressing about, oh, shoot, it's another week, you got to do it again. But it should be something that you love doing, that you see the value and potential in. There are tens and millions of podcast listeners just in the US. That doesn't include the global audience. And on average, people spend about 7 hours a week listening to podcasts. And I don't know about you, Jeremy, but I have very loving friends and family, and I do not spend 7 hours a week talking to them. So just getting that kind of trust in someone's ear is so priceless and so valuable. And it's a huge opportunity to be part of the podcasting industry.
Do you think that another reason for the sharp fall off is that just like expectations when it comes to starting a podcast, right? People think that they need to have millions of listeners on the podcast for it to be effective. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're trying to accomplish, whether you're doing it for a business or whether you're doing it for a personal project, whatever that looks like. But people can get discouraged real quickly when they see that they're not getting the following, and then they can start justifying in their head, well, there's so many people out there doing it, and why is mine? And you get caught in these loops in your head. Do you think that plays into it a lot with folks out there that start and then just fall off?
Yeah, there's a great metaphor I like of this kid on the beach, and all these starfish have washed up ashore, and they were all dying in the sand. And this kid was walking on the beach and just throwing starfish back into the ocean. And this guy comes walking over, seeing this kid. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm trying to save all these starfish." And the guy goes, "There's hundreds of thousands of starfish on this beach. There's no way you're able to save all of them." And the kid looks at the guy and picks up the starfish and goes, "Well, at least I'm saving this one," and tosses it back into the ocean. And so if you have that attitude about your podcast, that if you can help just one extra person, get from point A to point B, or have a better experience than you did in your life from something you learned, that's one of the most important things of your show. And then also kind of recognizing, my other colleague, Jason Allen Scott, he brings up a good point too. And it is religious, but I think it's a very good point. How many disciples did Jesus have? It wasn't hundreds, it wasn't thousands, it was literally 12. So if you just have 12 loyal listeners on your show, you'd be surprised on what they're willing to buy from you, what they're willing to refer to you, what they're willing to give back to you as a thank you for starting your show. And it's also kind of recognized too that, yes, podcasting audience growth can sometimes take time, depending on the niche, depending on what you're talking about, depending on your previous background. Joe Rogan is not the biggest podcaster in the world because of how good of podcaster he is. I can assure you, he is not the most interesting interviewer. He does not bring in the most interesting guests. Like, yes, he does bring in amazing guests, but he built another personal brand around his podcast brand. He also was on Fear Factor. He's also involved with UFC. He does a lot of other things, and his podcast helps supplement his brand. And that's why he's one of the top podcasters in the world.
He's also done like 3,000 episodes.
And he's also done 3,000 episodes. So that helps too.
One thing I will say about Rogan, though, that I appreciate about him, and I do think he's a very good interviewer, and he's become a great podcaster. And I do think he has a lot of interesting guests on. One of the things I like about him is that he is not afraid to be curious. Yeah. Like if he has a guest on he doesn't understand something, like he's okay looking stupid. And I think most people, they have their ego out and they want to, and I suffer from this as well. Somebody will explain something to me, it doesn't click. And it's just like, do I really want to go down that rabbit hole? And just being okay to do that. There's a certain layer of vulnerability that comes with that I think resonates with people on a very deep level, because we're human beings and we're all not perfect and we all struggle with all sorts of shit. And when you can have these open and honest conversations and just really dig into some of this stuff and not pretend to have it all figured out, I think that's what really ultimately resonates out there with an audience.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's just like really digging deep into the truth. And yeah, and that's the beauty of the podcasting world, is that there's not much, there's no censorship for the most part. So you could literally talk about anything, no matter who disagrees with you or not. In the RSS podcast world, your podcast can still be live. Anyone can still listen to you. So you can talk about whatever politics, taboo topics you want, or it's like talk about a really embarrassing story if you want. And that's what people love about it too, is you don't have to worry about censorship, is you can literally talk about whatever you want and not hold back.
And I think I've been thinking about this a lot lately as I've been like trying to work with AI for editing and creating content and all this. I think a lot of people, they hold back from creating personalized content around their brand, creating videos or even podcasting, whatever it is, because they feel that they want it to be quote unquote perfect, or they don't have anything interesting to say, or maybe they'll screw it up, or whatever that is. The more we see AI come, AI is like perfect. It's putting out a product that's like perfect. It's not human. So I think there's a longing for human connection. So I say that to people out there that are thinking about getting out there and putting yourself out there, be vulnerable, right? Screw it up, right? Do all sorts of stuff. You never know what's going to resonate. And people, we get in our heads and we think, oh, what if we put something out there and then it's seen the wrong way? As long as it's not like horribly egregious, like it's in one ear out the other, right? People don't hark on this stuff, right? Like they see something, like whatever, they forget about it 2 seconds later. I think we tend to get caught in our heads so much, and it prevents us from doing the things required to grow our business, grow our brand, and like really grow as a person.
Yeah, the founder of the company I work with, Podfest Expo, Chris Kremitzos, he wrote a book called Start Ugly, where essentially it's better just to get started, learn along the way, than it is to like go, oh, everything has to be perfect. I have to buy $1,000 camera, I have to buy $1,000 microphone, I have to buy $1,000 editor, or else I can't have a podcast at all. And like that's not the case. Like you can literally get started on your iPhone. You can literally record something on your iPhone, upload it to whatever podcast host you want to use, and do some basic editing, GarageBand or something if you want to edit it at all. But yeah, just getting started is the most important thing, because then you can get out of your own way and kind of learn and improve as you go. And And I will say too, like, yeah, if you sound too perfect, then the podcast audiences probably won't want to listen to, because they want to hear that authenticity. They want you to be vulnerable. They want you to really dive deep into conversations and topics that they wouldn't otherwise have access to. So it's way better to be authentic. And if you make a mistake, that's okay, because that also adds to who you are as a person anyway.
So speaking of starting, what would you say to someone out there that has been thinking? Because I know there's a lot of people that have been thinking about starting a podcast and they haven't done it. They've kicked the can down the road. Speak to your point about just getting going, right? Not getting too far in your head. What's like a simple 1, 2, 3 recipe, right? Like just take the phone and like put it on a tripod and then make an account with Buzzsprout or one of those feeds. Like as simple as that. Like, do we have to
seriously.
do you even need a microphone at that point? Or maybe just use it?
So I did a workshop in the Brotherhood 2 weeks ago. And one of the things I mentioned is like having the excuse of, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to say. I don't know what episode should be about. Like that doesn't fly anymore. Because hopefully you know a little bit about your topic or subject you want to talk about already based on your life experience and career experience, things like that. B, there's this now very magical world of LLMs, aka ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, that will literally help guide you along the way to creating a successful podcast and show. So for your case, Jeremy, you could literally talk about, I see there's a lot of plants or ferns behind you. Or
plant medicine, baby.
Plant medicine. Yeah. So like, let's say you're a guy like Jeremy and he's Jeremy wants to start a podcast from scratch, and he goes to Grok or ChatGPT and he goes, hey, I want to make a podcast about plant medicine. I really believe that certain plants help people heal. I really believe that if more people knew about plant medicine, they could have a healthier lifestyle, healthier life. What are the first 10 episodes of my podcast? What should they be about? And it will literally give you a title of each episode, a description, some talking points. And you're like, oh, I actually do know a lot about those things. That's a great 10 episode idea. And boom, you literally look at the template, look at the description. And yeah, like you said, if you only have an iPhone or a basic computer, just like click start recording, go to Zoom. If you need to, just like go, hopefully everyone knows how to use Zoom by now, and just record yourself on Zoom if you need to, and just take the audio and upload it to Buzzsprout or Libsyn or Blueberry. But yeah, starting a podcast really has never been easier. There's so many tools, platforms, apps out there to make your podcast life easier. Like it used to be so complicated years ago, where you had to like figure out how to upload to this random cloud thing, and then figure out how to edit it, and then figure out how to upload it through a secret link or something like that. But they've made it easier than ever, because people know that podcasting industry is growing rapidly. Companies want the industry to grow. Brands want the industry to go. And so it's up to you to get your influence out there.
Yeah, the magical AI machine out there. I wanted to talk to you about that, because yes, it is easy to go out and get topic ideas and get all sorts of content that you could speak. But what I've found to be challenging, and there's two different things to talk about here, right? There's like doing a podcast where you're just talking at the camera, which for a lot of people can be very, very difficult and challenging. Yeah. I mean, you could put a script up on the computer and read off, but if you're not comfortable doing that, it'll come off as being scripted. It's not very natural.
And I will say really quick too, is that a lot of people do podcasting in their PJs, because you don't have to do a video podcast if you don't want to. Like if you want to be audio only, like that's fine too. But like, I would highly recommend you do a video where you can. But if you're like, heck no, I have a face for radio, like just give me the audio. That's fine too. Don't let that hold you back either. Yeah,
for sure. You're a little fuzzy there on the screen.
Oh no, I look so clear to me, but
internet connection maybe. I hope it comes out good. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So okay, that's the first thing, right? Like if you're just doing a podcast by yourself, talking on the screen, that's fine. Have some notes, and you'll get better. Like to speak to your point about just starting, it's going to suck at first, but the more you do of it, like anything else, you'll get better and better and better at looking at ideas and being able to just articulate them without reading off the script that you have. But then you have the other side of having like a conversation like this. So this is something that I've kind of, I guess I could say struggled with over time when you have guests on the show. Like there's this line between just like having a list of questions to run down and just ask questions, but then just having like an open conversation where you could discuss things. Now, often what I'll find when I script out a whole bunch of questions to have, like I'll ask a question and then the guests will answer, and then via their answer, they'll answer questions 1, 3, 7, 9 off my list. And then you're like, okay, then now you're no longer listening to the conversation. You're in your head looking at the list of questions, trying to figure out the next one that you want to ask. That's something that I've certainly struggled with. What's been your methodology for kind of parsing that and handling that? And again, I understand it comes with practice and doing more of it and just getting more comfortable. But what do you typically do to balance that, to make sure that you're having like a good engaged conversation, but at the same time, you're actually asking insightful, useful questions that are going to pull out useful information for the audience?
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah. So you brought two really good points. And so the first thing about, people getting nervous about learning podcasting fast enough, and hopefully for those listening to this show, you've had experience driving a car for the first time. And I don't know about you, but Jeremy, but the first time my dad told me to get in the car and start driving on the freeway, like I was terrified. Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? This is the worst thing ever. Like I have to like put my blinker and check my blind spot and be able to know where the gas pedal is and the brake is. And now, I could, if I really want to, I can drive a car with my knee and then have a burger in one hand and drink in another hand and just be like, I
don't do that, by the way. This is not,
no, I'm not
soliciting advice here.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying though. Yeah.
But the point being, like, I know how to confidently drive a car now. So that skill set of learning how to be a good podcaster will develop, is the point I'm trying to make. And then when it comes to asking questions, I was talking with my buddy yesterday. He has a podcast called Block Hash, and he was talking about how the guests who come on the show, the guests who always ask for very specific questions in advance, everything has to be to the T. Those are the most stressful podcasts because the stress comes out in the show.
Right, they have their answers like written down.
Yeah.
So the question, they're like reading the answer off the thing. Yeah, it's happened more. It's horrible.
Exactly.
It's like, don't do that, please.
Yeah, exactly. Like you want your podcast to be conversational and be flowing. And so what I do is, I don't usually give the questions in advance to a guest, or I give them like a few questions as templates. Say, hey, here's some questions I'm going to ask you, but I want the conversation to be flowing, and so I'm going to ask some other questions on top of that. So I have like my own list of questions just to make sure I'm prepared for the show, because obviously you don't want dead space to happen and be like, oh, it's a good answer, what should I ask next? Like, you don't like that would not be good. So I have a list of questions ready, but then of course, as I'm listening to the conversation and they say something that's interesting, I'm like, oh wait, that's fascinating, tell me more about that. And I'm okay being able to veer off a little bit, knowing that I still have my preset of questions ready to go to come back to if I need to, but kind of understanding that the podcast kind of goes where the conversation flows, essentially.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I just flashed out a little notepad. Yep. Joel is a big fan of the notes. Every podcast, every Zoom call he's on, whatever it is, he's always making little, and not like writing long thoughts, but just like little notes. So, know where to come back to. And that's also an art, because you want to still stay engaged and listen to the person while you're doing that. But again, if they say something of interest, you just jot down one word that you can get back to with it. You said moments of blank space, right? What's wrong with that? Like because we've all been there, right? You're having a conversation and then the exchange happens and then there's a silence. Like, silence is okay. Why do we feel the need when that happens? There's like this uncomfortable tinge that comes up. It's like, oh, well, who's going to talk now? Like, who cares? It's fine.
Yeah.
The conversation's going to go where it's going to go. And if there's a pause, big deal. Not to mention you could edit this stuff if you really wanted to anyway.
Of
so
course.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah. And I was also reading an article about when Elon Musk went on the Lex Fridman podcast, and Lex Fridman asked Elon a question, and Elon took like 30 seconds to answer.
I saw that.
Yeah, you saw that. Yeah. And so the fact that, especially if you ask a question and one of the people are thinking about the answer, it's totally okay to pause and wait for that answer, because it can help add to like the tension of like, ooh, what's he going to say next? Or B, like, oh, what's going to happen? And C, like, sometimes it's okay to have that extra processing time to really come up with the cohesive answer rather than giving an answer just to give an answer. And so it's totally okay to have pauses in your episode, especially with asking questions. And like you said too, that's the beauty of podcasting, is if you pre-record things, you can always fix it in post-production as well, where you can like minimize the pauses or take out the ums, or if someone curses on the show, you don't want them to curse, it gives you a chance to bleep out their curse words, essentially, as I say right now. But point being, yes, Silence can be okay within reason, depending on how you want your show to flow, regardless.
That is one of the things I noticed when I started doing this. There were quite a few ums and ahs and all these different filler words. Then the more I did of it, the better I got at just eliminating the filler words and just having space and just pausing for a brief period before the next thought. Because typically when you pause for a second, the thought usually comes to you. And I've had many times where it didn't. And I'm just like, oh, I lost my train of thought. No, I'm sure it'll come back later. And then they start talking. And then like 30 seconds later, it's like, oh, I got it now. Just came. So yeah, you just gotta do it, man. You just gotta get out there and be more comfortable, get more comfortable, and just get more comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the key.
No, exactly. Yeah. It's just understand that you're going to learn as you go and get better and better. And just understand that just like with everything in life, like, I mean, I have a 7-month-old kid right now and he hasn't learned to walk yet, but I know like when we all were learning to walk, it's like, what am I doing? I don't know how to balance. I don't know how to put my left foot from my right foot. And now we're able to do obstacle courses and run races and do all these things, but you got to learn how to walk first and just kind of understand that you'll get better as time goes on.
You said 7 months?
Yeah.
That's right. I saw him. I met him when you came down here last time.
Yes. Yeah. He's growing up quick. That's for sure. He likes to crawl around and he has 2 teeth he likes to bite you with. So he's very, very ferocious. That's for sure.
I don't envy you. I got a 14-year-old daughter, and an 11-year-old son, and I think I'm good. I don't want any more babies. It seems like a lifetime ago than when they were like, I don't even really have a vivid memory of it. It seems so long ago, yet it seems like it went by so damn quick.
Well, I've heard that 14-year-old daughters are like the toughest to raise, though. Like, how's that going for you?
No comment.
No comment. Okay. All right. Well,
that's all I'll say about that.
We'll make sure.
I mean, the funny thing about my daughter Emma. I mean, she's a teenager. She's like really, really cool to hang out with.
Oh,
like if I go out to dinner with her or go shopping in the mall, like she's just a joy to go hang out with. When she's like getting her way and getting what she wants, but like if things don't go her way, not so much. So we're working on that.
Funny how that works. Yeah, it's just like with my 7-month-old. If he doesn't get what he wants, all heck is about to break loose.
Indeed, man. So you mentioned earlier that you work with. Did you say Podfest? Was that the name of the?
Yeah, Podfest Expo. Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit more, because I know I've been podcasting now myself for 3-ish years, I'd say.
Nice. Yeah.
I haven't done much. It's funny. There's a lot of parallels in my spiritual journey where I've been doing a lot of work on myself. I always say on the north side of 40, I've been doing like a lot of personal growth and development work on myself, but I hadn't been building a community. I hadn't been sharing it with others and like really connecting with other like-minded folks and trying to get the message out there. And I think a lot of that was similar in the podcast space for me, in that I was doing podcasting, but I was doing it all remotely, and I'm having conversations and networking with a lot of different people and all that, but I never really like leaned into the space writ large. I never got into any of these conferences.
Yeah.
I don't even know that I've been a guest on many podcasts, if any at all. Mm-hmm. I haven't really like gotten out of my shell in that regard. So I'm very interested to learn more about the work you're doing at Podfest.
Yeah.
And then more specifically, like how you're integrated with the larger podcast community.
So Podfest is one of the country's largest podcasting conferences. We get to say we're the world's largest continuous in-person podcasting event because we were the last big event in March 2020 before COVID. We snuck an event at the end of 2021, and then we've been able to be consistent, and we're coming up on our 13-year anniversary in 2027 for our 13th annual event, essentially. But yeah, just podcasting is kind of like entrepreneurship. Why do you have to do it your own? Like, why do you have to figure out yourself? Like, hey, what are the best AI systems to make my podcast production process easier? What are the best ways to grow my podcast? What are the best ways to monetize my podcast? So what we've done is created an amazing podcast community of people who love supporting and helping each other out, giving each other tips and tricks, and recommending guests and hosts for each other, essentially. And so, yeah, we have about 30,000 people in our community across Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. We have about 17,000 people on our email list, with about a 40% open rate because our community is very engaged in the podcasting space. And so, yeah, we're an amazing community of people who are podcasters, content creators, YouTubers, streamers who want to learn how to grow and monetize their brand. And there's so many amazing opportunities to recognize you don't have to do it alone. And, our motto is essentially rising tide lifts all boats. Like, we want everyone who is a content creator to be more successful at what they do, because you're giving value to the world, hopefully. And so, yeah, we host a big annual event in Orlando, Florida. For those listening, it's January 14th to 17th is our next big annual event. If you subscribe to our email, we also have a virtual event coming up June 9th to the 11th, 2026, where we're talking about AI and growth. And so we'll have different themes days of like, here's how to start a podcast and systematize it. Here's how to grow a podcast. Here's how to monetize a podcast for each day's theme, essentially. And so, yeah, it's essentially, so I run the director of partnerships. So I help bring sponsors to the event and help sell out the exhibitor booths in our expo hall. We usually get about 50 to 60 exhibitors in our expo hall. And so I'm the one who helps sell it out, essentially. And I love being part of the Podfest communities because everyone's so friendly to each other, loves helping each other out. Obviously, they inspired me to start my own show called Rapid Results with Andrew Weiss back in January 2022. And I'm up to about 80 episodes now and coming up on 100 here pretty soon. And yeah, it's just an incredible community for people who are serious about wanting to grow and monetize their brand and get the connections and resources they need.
Now, the community, the 30,000 people that you have plugged in, this is a free community you could plug into, you can just follow, but then you have these events. Is that how it's monetized, through these conferences and larger and other things? Yeah,
we're monetized through our ticket sales and our sponsors who help make the events possible, basically. Because the ticket sales they don't really help us monetize. They help us break even, but it's the sponsors who actually help supplement everything and allow us to bring so many podcasters together to help each other out. And of course, we love our sponsors and our partners to help make the events possible, and because they give amazing tools and resources to help our podcasters as well. So yeah, that's where the monetization comes from, though, is sponsorships and ticket sales.
Yeah, I mean, I got to plug into that network, man.
Yeah.
I'm still not even, I mean, the first time we spoke really about any of this was right before the talk you did at the Brotherhood group. And I didn't even realize that you were doing a lot of the same things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you really opened my eyes to this whole space. I got to plug in, man. You got to send me the information so I can at least join the groups and start getting myself out there.
Yeah, one of our top partners is PodMatch, and they have a growing podcast network too. So I don't know if you've ever considered being part of a podcast network, but essentially it's another resource where they help podcasts grow and monetize through a shared community as well. So yeah, definitely check out PodMatch. I'll send you some links as well and connect you with the founder and see if you can help qualify to be in his network, because he's an amazing guy and he has an amazing platform. And PodMatch is a software that helps match guests and hosts. And so as a host, it makes you super easy to find guests. As a guest, it makes you super easy to find hosts. So, and they also help. And what's also cool about the platform too is if you're a host and you host guests from the platform on your show, PodMatch will pay you. And so you'll officially be a monetized podcaster, which is also a very, very big deal.
Very cool. Yeah, I've had quite a few people reach out to me, I guess, through similar channels, right, where they have to come on the Good Neighbor podcast and tell their story. But yeah, this is all interesting. I'm glad we connected and we're able to do this, because it's always great. I like you said, rising tide lifts all boats. Yeah. You know, I love learning new things and really collaborating with other people in the space. And then you mentioned that you do the Rapid Results podcast. I think I'm scheduled to come on your show next week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about the show. What's the story behind it? What do you typically do? What's the format?
Yeah. So I got involved with Podfest in 2020, and then by the time I was a year into working with Podfest, I'm like, geez, I guess I better have my own podcast show. So I launched my show January 2022, and I love nerding out on business, entrepreneurship, and anything with personal and professional development. So I named my show Rapid Results with Andrew Weiss, and the premise of the show is, David Meltzer coined the phrase, I believe, a dummy tax is why make the same mistakes as other people if they can tell you how to prevent those mistakes, essentially. And so I ask a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs, like, hey, what are some things you wish you had known earlier on in your business process to make sure that you didn't go broke for a period of time, or to make sure you didn't lose a bunch of money? And so I love interviewing, business owners, entrepreneurs about their journeys to success. And I love for them to brag about themselves on the show, because sometimes people have trouble bragging about themselves. And so, it's a live stream show, and then I take the audio, turn it into a podcast. And it's a great way for me to build relationships and connect with people and essentially, keep building the Andrew Weiss brand, essentially.
Very cool. So you do a live stream. All of them are all live.
All live. Yes. Yeah. All live.
That'll be my first. I've never done a live stream before. So
really?
That'll be my first one. I've done 8 million episomes and I haven't done live.
You've done 8 million episodes. Jeez, you surpassed Joe Rogan. Congratulations. That's amazing.
There we go. I lost the thought again. Hold on a second.
Okay. No worries. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Andrew, this is all part of the larger brand. I think was it Weiss Wisdom?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Weiss Wisdom. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the brand and the mission, and it sounds to me like you're working with people to help them unlock their potential and achieve what they want out of life from like a coaching perspective and really achieve greatness. That's something that I've been very much interested in my own journey in terms of trying to more from like the spiritual lens and the mind as spiritual and like holistic healing, and then the mindset. And there's just like this big convergence of all these things coming together, right? You have the marketing components, the building the personal brand, you have the spiritual work I'm doing with plant medicines and things of that nature. Then you have all this mindset stuff and the accountability and the brotherhood. It's like this perfect storm brewing. And it seems like a lot of the work that you're doing is very much aligned with what I got going on in my life.
Yeah. So I love helping people make more money what they're already doing. It's kind of like my mantra essentially. And because what I've noticed is that a lot of people, like, they're usually just like one little tweak away from the results and desires that they've been after essentially. So like, for example, when I was helping someone in the fitness space, he wanted to lose a bunch of weight. I said, great, just run a mile every day for 30 days straight. And he did it, and I think he lost like 20 pounds in 30 days. He's like, what? This was amazing. All I had to do was run a mile. I'm like, yeah. Like,
easy. It's an easy game, man.
Easy game. And you know what, when I'm coaching people too, so another client I loved helping, he wanted to get a anime tea brand off the ground essentially. And he's like, well, I posted on Kickstarter and I tried to raise money, but then nothing happened. I'm like, okay, well, the one tweak you need to make there is that you need to understand that just because you talk about something doesn't mean people are going to care. So you have to really put in an extra level of work to make sure that things are successful. So the way Kickstarter works is that once you launch, you have to have a lot of people ready to buy in immediately on that launch date. And so what you do is you essentially say, hey, okay, I want to launch a product on, we're talking April 2026 right now. I want to launch a product in May or June or July. That means you need to start creating a list of people and telling them, hey, I'm launching this product on May 15th. I'd love for you to mark it in your calendar that once we launch, you immediately buy the product. Because the algorithms see that, hey, once a bunch of people are interested in this product right at the launch date, it must be a cool product or service. And so they're going to want to then send it out to other people who you haven't contacted yet and say, hey, look at this hot trending new product or service that's going on in Kickstarter. You should buy into it too. And everyone gets really excited, like, oh, well, if other people are buying into it, I should buy into it as well. And so with this strategy, he was able to sell out of his product within, I think, about 45 days. And it really just like changed his life. And just like really, it's so awesome when I'm coaching clients, just like seeing their eyes light up for what they can accomplish. And just like another client as well, I also helped him with this Kickstarter project. He wanted to launch a movie. And he wasn't really sure how to get started, how to go about it, how to approach it. And I helped give him the confidence to believe in himself that he could do it in the first place. And then he also was able to have a successful Kickstarter. He raised over $5,000 within that time frame. And so, yeah, I love helping people, make more money doing what they're already doing, give them the confidence to believe in themselves, understand what they're capable of. And what I've kind of recognized in life too is that for those who are spiritual, like I definitely believe that God is in others, and sometimes that we can't always see from inside the glass. When we're stuck inside a bottle, like what we're capable of, what our potential can be. But people who are outside the glass looking in at you, like, go, duh, of course you can do this. Duh, of course you can accomplish this. But sometimes when you're stuck from inside the bottle, like you can't see where to go or what direction to take you. And so you should always be looking for coaches and guidance to help give you feedback, who knows what they're talking about, to help make sure you're accomplishing what you want to achieve, essentially.
I love what you said there. And I had a thought in my head that you actually addressed as you were going through there, but about like the one small tweak, right? You could be doing something for a long time and not seeing results and stuck in your head, questioning what's going on. And like you said, you're seeing things through your limited perspective.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you just need somebody to look at it from the outside and just, like you said, make a small little tweak, and all of a sudden things start popping off, and just keeping the activity up and just pressing forward and keeping a positive mindset around that. Like things magically start to work out when you do all that. It's just so important to have. And that's one of the things that I had been lacking tremendously, as I alluded to earlier, where I was doing all this personal work on myself, but I wasn't getting any outside feedback. I was just doing all this introspective stuff, which is important.
Yeah.
You need to have course correction, right?
Yeah.
Because we're gonna see things through our own lens, and
you also need accountability too, because if you are just relying on your own self to get in your own way, you're going to get in your own way. Like it's inevitable. Like as humans, like it's so easy to get down ourselves. It's so easy to lose momentum. But what I've noticed too is it's it's habit stacking essentially. So for example, our perspective and brain chemistry can change so quickly with every decision we make of every day. And so, for example, yesterday I was out at an airport and I had a cookie, and I'm like, okay, I had a cookie. I guess I don't need to do a workout today because I had this cookie. So what's the point now? Versus if you get up in the morning and you do 20 push-ups, okay, I already did 20 push-ups. I guess I better have a healthy breakfast. And then lunchtime comes around, you go, okay, I guess now that I had a healthy breakfast, I better have a healthy lunch too. And you just do like these consistent stacking on top of each other. Versus if you get up in the morning and then you you decide to have a big donut for breakfast.
It is easy to stack negative habits.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Slope.
You're like, I already had a donut for breakfast. Yeah, might as well have a bunch of bacon on my burger for lunch. It's just it's things stack quickly. That's for sure. Yeah.
It's what is it? James Clear that in Atomic Habits that talks about habit stacking, right?
Yeah.
And building on that. And I just did a podcast right before this with Vinny from the Brotherhood. Vinny,
nice. Yeah.
Ibarra, from Quality and Home Care. We talked about the same thing with we were talking about exercise. It's like you would think that if you exercise, you'd be like, oh, well, I did the work. Now I'm good. I can eat whatever I want. But what happens is you start being more conscious about your diet because you're like, I just put in all that work. I did all that. Do I really want to go?
I don't want to ruin it. Yeah.
Blow it and ruin it. And again, it just, like you said, habit stacking. It just keeps keeps building on itself. Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah. So I created a system of accountability, and just essentially, you put in a deposit towards someone who can hold you accountable, and you don't get that deposit back until you consistently do one habit that will positively affect your life for the next 30 days. And that's why I tell people it's just one habit that if you were to focus on that could really make a big difference, whether it's making more money, whether it's being healthier, whether it's being happier. Like what's the one thing you could do every day that could really make a difference for you?
Yeah. And you're speaking of running 1 mile every day. I will say this, I'm a big runner. It's definitely hard on my knees and my body, but in terms of like my overall health, ever since I started running consistently, every time I go to the doctor, I get complimented on the
I bet
health that I'm in. And I'd never, ever heard that in the past. And I just, everywhere I go, it's like, oh yeah. I mean, I was told several times by the doctor that, oh, you're perfect. I was like, oh, thank you very much.
Is this a female doctor or a male doctor, Jeremy? I mean,
I've had a male and female tell me, use the word. I shit you not. Use the word perfect. I'm like, oh, thank you.
That's a very big compliment. That's really good. Yes.
And then to the point where I just went to the doctor and the female nurse didn't tell me. She's like, oh, everything seems good. She didn't say. I was like, wait, you mean I'm not perfect?
Oh, how dare they? How dare they? You got to turn your flirt on a little bit better than apparently.
Next time. I'll work on the game.
Yeah.
You mentioned the spirituality. Are you big into spirituality? Do you have any introspective practices? I know something for me, breath work, meditation. I love doing like cold plunge, ice bath type stuff.
Yeah.
What's your thing?
Yeah, I definitely believe in showing gratitude every day. So I have a manifestation journal that I use to be productive. And at the end of every day, it's like, hey, what are you grateful for today? What did you achieve today? How can you improve tomorrow? At the beginning of each day, the prompts are like, what are you grateful and excited for today? What will make you happy today? So I definitely believe in meditation, and journaling is definitely one of the best life hacks because when I'm not journaling my thoughts, like I'm just really in chaos mode, essentially.
Circling around here. Yeah. That's like one of the things that does for you, right? Is like we have so much crap going on inside our head. To be able to take that out of your head and put it down somewhere.
It's so needed. Absolutely. And I think it's like the pen to paper feeling is a good experience too. So it's definitely required for everyone to journal, in my opinion.
Yeah, or even just using, I hate to say using AI for some of that, but in terms of like organizing your thoughts, like in terms of ideas, you get an idea or something, if you don't distill it from your head, if you just keep it floating around, there was not much room for new ideas. But if you take that idea and then you speak to your AI of choice and say, hey, I got this cool idea, create a framework around that and then stick it in Google Drive. Maybe you do something with it, maybe you don't, but you just made room in your head for more downloads to come.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You got the baby? Bring the baby in.
Come on. Yeah, I was just saying, I think the mom has got to get going to work.
Go.
So we got to bring the baby in.
We have a special guest. I'm going to let you introduce baby Weiss.
Yes, this is his baby Ajax, and so
Ajax.
Yeah, he'll be 7 months old next week, and yeah, he likes the camera, and he he likes to constantly be moving. That's for sure.
Future podcast extraordinaire.
Yes.
What's up, Ajax? How you doing?
And what's cool actually is Ajax is a Podfest baby because my wife and I met through the Podfest world.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she was a speaker at one of our events, and I invited her a Zoom call after, and now we have Ajax here. So
it's funny how things work out, isn't it?
Funny how things work out. So.
You have a super special place in your heart when it comes to podcasting. You met your wife there. Your life.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely.
Was driven in that direction through podcasting. That's lovely.
Yeah. We had an epic wedding on a rooftop in New York City, and yeah, no, just definitely a podcast biased person for life. That's for sure.
Cool, man. All right, so I think we could probably leave it at that. I know. Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up here? I was going to leave with a couple words on gratitude and whatnot.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. I'll defer to what you want to do. I think Ajax can hang out for a little bit, so I don't think we're in a super rush. If you want to keep asking questions, these are great topics about podcasting and personal development and business growth and all the above. So yeah, whatever else on your topic list.
For some reason, I got it
dancing baby.
I got it in my head for some reason that you had a hard stop at 12:30, but I guess you didn't. I don't know where I got that.
Oh no, I was bringing the baby on around 12:30, but
you're cool with the baby on. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
cool.
As long as you're okay with the dancing baby.
Yeah, man, of course.
Okay.
Keeps us young. Keeps me young anyway as I'm getting older.
Of course.
But you mentioned that we were talking about like journaling and gratitude. One of the things I've noticed when it comes to that kind of thing, writing down like your wins or thinking about your wins from the day before, when you start these practices, whether it's gratitude or kind of recounting wins, you might be you might sit down with your little notebook and you're like, you can't think of things to be great. You put down like, oh, my family, my this, but then you run out of things to think of.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's kind of tough exercise. Same thing with wins. You can't remember what you won yesterday. But the more you do that, the more you build the muscle and the habit, what happens is that throughout your day now, you start looking for wins. You start looking for things to be grateful for because you know you're going to do that exercise. And the more you do of that, it's like the floodgates open and you start filling up pages with all things you're grateful for. And I've noticed that happens with doing it consistently and really, and then when you stop doing it, like anything else, the well seems to dry up, but there's always things to be grateful for. And there's always wins out there to be had.
Yeah. This was a good prompt and I don't know if it's a brotherhood call or a different call, but yeah, someone brought that up as like, when you're writing gratitude again and again and again, like you be repetitive, then you can go into like autopilot and just like, are you really grateful if you're just an autopilot when it comes to gratitude, essentially? And another guy brought up a really good point about this is like, okay, well, if you were to write down things you're grateful for that hasn't happened yet, that can still keep that spark, that passion alive, going like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. Like my name is Jeremy and I have one of the top plant medicine podcasts in the country. And then a year later, you have one of the top plant medicine podcasts in the Western Hemisphere in the world, essentially. Like, oh, that's really excitement. I'm really grateful for that. And so when you write down things you're grateful for that haven't happened yet, I think that's what helps keep the gratitude alive. And then, of course, make sure you are, in the meantime, being intentional with your gratitude and really meaning it. Like, hey, I'm grateful for good health. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful that I can work virtually, that I have clients, that I have money in my bank accounts. Like, hopefully you are genuinely grateful for that, because that would allow more abundance to come to you, is just recognizing the gratitude that you already have.
Yep. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about that, right? It's like visualizing the thing that you want and then feeling the emotion that's associated with having that thing. And that rewires your brain to attract the thing that you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
It's a very subtle thing and it sounds like woo-woo-y when you hear it, but it's so damn true.
Oh my gosh.
Practicing it. I think Dispenza uses the words like little synchronicities start popping up. He calls them breadcrumbs from the divine, right?
Yeah.
You start noticing that's interesting that happened, and it's just like you're paying attention to things in the right way, and the more you do so, the more seemingly magic starts to happen.
Yeah, no, it's just like you're already living the experience you want to live, and like the universe can't tell the difference between as long as you're in the feelings of heightened emotion and excitement, and as long as you're putting the action in too. I was telling Salisha, I don't know have you heard of the show The Last Kingdom on Netflix by any chance?
Dude, my wife has watched that. I love The Last Kingdom. My wife has watched that show multiple times.
Really? Okay.
Favorite show ever.
Yeah, no, and I love this show because I think it speaks to a great point too. Like obviously, I love God and I love Jesus, and I think the show speaks to, obviously, I don't know how fictional or non-fictional the show is, but it's a great point that in the show, for those who haven't seen it, essentially, like they're the Christian Saxons, they're being raided by the Vikings. And when they're being raided by the Vikings, they spend most of the time just praying and praying to God, saying, please God protect us. Like, hopefully, God be with us, like, and all this. And like, and in the meantime, the Vikings are like, okay, cool, you can pray, but we're still going to burn your villages and take all your silver. And it's not until they have this like, quote unquote pagan guy, he's like, okay, it's great you're praying to God, but let's actually fight back. Let's strategize. Let's figure out how to put into action, how to actually defend ourselves on top of praying to God. And it's just another reminder as well, like, praying and manifesting isn't good enough. You have to put in the action, put in the work, and then be supported divinely on top of that. You can't just sit in your room all day and pray and then everything's going to magically come to you. Like action is very important too. Yeah.
I'm going to sit on the couch and manifest abundance all day long. But that is a very important distinction, right? Because the mindset and the manifestation will only take you so far. You have to couple that with action.
Yeah.
Action cures everything. Like even if you don't have the right mindset, if you just get out there and take action, the mind will follow.
Yeah, and Benjamin Hardy talks about that too, how like if you are ever in a bad mindset and in a bad headspace, feel like you're not making any progress, like just do 20 push-ups, like just go run a mile, and you'd be surprised, like the confidence boost, the clarity that comes to you going, oh, okay, I got this, I can do this now. Like, I can assure you, like you'll be less depressed, you'll be less sad, you'll be less stagnant if you just get your body moving, get your blood flowing. Like if you go call a potential client or call a potential friend for an energy boost, like, if you just sit and wallow by yourself, it's not going to do you any good.
If you're in a bad headspace, you will never ever think your way to clarity.
Yes, exactly.
Action will lead to clarity.
Yeah.
And to speak to your point about like one of the things that I thankfully I work from home, I make my own schedule. If I'm ever stuck, I did a video on social media about this as well. Whenever I'm like caught in a loop and I'm just stewing in it, all I need to do is just get my shoes and go run. Yeah. And like magic, it's like all the cobwebs got shaken out of my head. And then inevitably 15, 20 minutes into the run, I have a thought. It's like, oh, wow, that would be a good idea. And it's like, oh, I'll do that when I get back. And it's like, oh, let me do that. And then by the time I get home from the run, I got 10 ideas. I'm juiced up from the run. I'm ready to go. And I'm right back in it. So it might not be running like for whenever you're stuck.
Even taking a shower and just who knows, maybe going out to get a meal or something, or just like going shopping.
Something to break the pattern.
Break the pattern.
Exactly. The energy, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's push-ups, exercise, just you go out, just jump up and down, dance, move around.
Jumping jacks. Yeah.
We're all energy, right? Yeah. And when we're stuck in something, the best thing you can do is move the energy around, and that's how you unstuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Unstuck yourself. Exactly. I love that. Yeah.
Oh man. What else? So what do you like to do? You play sports? What do you like to do for fun? And I got a 7-month-old. You got any other kids, or is that it?
Oh yeah, this is my fun right here. Oh yes. He's my only kid. I want more, start working on convincing the wife to agree to have more. So we'll see. He's
you want a 14-year-old?
Maybe, possibly.
Joking.
I know. He's also the first grandson on both our parents' sides, and so he's
nice.
already very spoiled. But yeah, for fun, I mean, I love playing basketball. I love doing cool adventures. I like going to the spa. I love I'm doing an obstacle course next weekend, the Spartan race in Seattle.
You're doing a Spartan.
Yeah, so
I did. I went to Argentina with Billy.
Oh yeah, you did that group.
Billy,
yeah.
I can't remember his last name. Dupree. What's Billy? You know Billy? His last name Dupree or Dupree. Anyway, he's done like 60 Spartan races.
60? Oh my God.
He's like Mr. Spartan. You're hiking in the woods. He's telling me all about the Spartan stuff. I'm like blown away by it.
Yeah.
You said it's your first one that you're doing, or?
It's be my second one. I've done a few other obstacle races as well. Like I've done like a mud run, a bubble run, and stuff like that.
I just did a muddy dash.
Oh, you did? Okay. Very fun. Yes.
That was a good time.
But yeah, when I was in college, to help train for my marathon, I did the Spartan Beast, where I think it's like 12 miles of obstacle course races, and that was a lot. But this one's only I think 10K or 12K or something like that.
Only
I mean,
you ran a marathon?
Oh yeah. I wanted to get less than 4 hours, but and I will say, I trained for it by doing sprint workouts because I don't know about you, but I don't like long distance running. Like I get bored easily, and I just I like to be very efficient with my workouts. And so like my workouts consist of high intensity interval trainings is what I do. So just like 20 or 30 minutes of like really intense workouts 3 to 4 times a week. And when I did the marathon, it was like a workout plan where you would like jog for a lap and then sprint for half a lap and jog for a lap, sprint for half a lap. And yeah, I mean, I never felt like physically tired from running. Just my legs didn't want to run anymore. And so I got 4 hours and 8 minutes, which I'm proud of. And we'll see if I do another one in the future and try and get under 4 hours. But yeah, I think also doing a lot of push-ups I think helps too, because obviously helps with your oxygen intake and all that. But I highly recommend everyone should do a half marathon or marathon, because it's a really amazing experience and gives you a big confidence boost the rest of your life, especially because the origin of it, someone died running it. So you could survive running it. You're in good shape.
Speaking of half marathons, I'm actually, the farthest I've ever ran is 10 miles. I'm doing a half marathon next weekend. And one of my toenails is already halfway from falling off.
Oh, so I bet.
Hopefully, I did a 22-mile ruck with the guys, and I have some toenail issues. So hopefully the toenail stays intact. But I'm going to do this half marathon, and I'm excited about it. To speak to your point, like sometimes I enjoy the long runs, sometimes I don't. But one thing is usually consistent when I start running. Always like inside the first 100 or 200 feet, like the thing I hate most about it is also the thing I love most about it, which is like, I'm always thinking, how can I continue running? I don't want to keep going anymore, but I keep going.
Well, and there's that runner's high that happens too. And I think just it's like with everything in life, like the first few minutes of running, you're like, this sucks. Like I hate this. Like what's going on? And then the next few minutes, like, oh, I actually feel pretty good now. And
No. Often I will run, and especially maybe like after a few miles, once I get into a groove. But the first couple of miles for me is always like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, should I turn around and go home? Can I even do this? How am I going to run 13 miles? I can't even run 1 mile.
Yeah.
I can't even run 100 yards.
Yeah.
But again, you train yourself to keep going, and it just builds that muscle, that resilience, that discipline to keep going when things are hard, and that translates so beautifully in everything else you do in life, like when you're involved in a stressful situation.
Yeah, well, and like for me, so I made a Facebook post about this, and like for me, like I'm all about getting as much motivation to do things as possible. And like I know, for a lot of people out there, doing 3 to 4 workouts a week sounds like a lot. But for me, what I tell myself is I only shower on days that I work out. So
you create an incentive to get to the gym.
Yeah, and so like, okay, I better get to the gym. It's been a couple of days, like I really need a shower, or else it won't be good. But also, I'm really into like Roman history and Greek history and stuff, and it's just like, okay, like if the Spartans could handle, really tough physical regimens and workouts to become one of the world's best warriors, I can handle this little 5-mile run or 10-mile run, essentially. Yep. And so sometimes it's kind of fun to have those kind of motivations too. And when I was running the marathon, hey, that's my microphone. Hey, I need my microphone back. Okay.
He wants his time to speak.
Sorry. when I was running the marathon, I downloaded a bunch of TED Talks to listen to and TEDx Talks, and then obviously audiobooks and music. But it was also helpful too is that they gave away free pancakes at the end of the marathon. And that was good motivation while I was running too. It's like, oh, I got to get those pancakes. I got to get those pancakes. So, as much motivating factors you can get, the better. And obviously, I did the Eugene Marathon. It was helpful. They had a bunch like Gatorade juices and like Cliff Bars to help keep you going. And if you ever do a marathon, like another reason why it's such an amazing experience is because it's so fun, like having thousands of people cheer you on and say, go, 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 you got this. Yeah. And like, it's so surreal. And, Salisha and I are in New York, and we think we're looking to do the New York Marathon one day. But yeah, it's a highly recommended experience. That's for sure.
I love that. Yeah. I would like to definitely run a marathon at some point, but we are going to ruck a marathon in 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That'll be Brotherhood. So we're doing 26.2 miles
at
a brisk pace. We're going to be going at like 4 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So that should be exciting. So if I don't get to run one for whatever reason, because of the knees or the back, at least I will have
rucked it. Yeah. I was talking to a guy who, he's actually speaking at the virtual event in June. For those tuning in, he's talking about his talk title is $10,000 or I think it's like $100,000 or 10,000 followers through Instagram. Like, which do you want? And he was talking about how he did a 100-mile walk and how he recommends that people do that too. He started off by saying, well, I ran 100 miles. I'm like, what? That's amazing. And as I was learning more, he's like, he actually walked it, but still 100 miles straight within like 50 hours or something like that is still crazy. So it's still
a heavy amount of mileage. I don't know if my body would appreciate that much.
And it helps use it for motivation too. Is like when you hear these stories of people, like when you're running a marathon or doing your ruck, like, okay, if that guy can handle 100 miles, I can handle 26 miles. Like, I got this. Like when things are getting tough, just having that confidence.
Cool, man. All right, let's leave it at that. We've been going almost an hour here. Let me just give you a moment to share with the audience how they could learn more. What's the best way to connect with you? If they'd like to engage you and connect, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, you can follow me on social media, the Andrew J. Weiss. Weiss is spelled W-E-I-S-S, and the is T-H-E, in case you need help hearing that. So, yeah, the Andrew J. Weiss on social media. You can also reach me, Andrew, at podfestexpo.com. Always love connecting with people looking to grow their brand, improve their life, reach bigger goals, and see how I can help in any way.
Beautiful. We will, of course, link in the description below to all of your information so people can reach out if they so choose. And if you're out there listening to this and you've been thinking about starting a podcast, whether you're a business owner or you just have a passion project and you need some guidance or some advice, anytime, our doors are always open. We both, myself and Andrew, we're here anytime to help in any way that we can. Appreciate you watching with us, and we wish you all a blessed day. Everyone take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast, Cooper City. To nominate your favorite local business to be featured on the show, go to gnpcoopercity.com. That's gnpcoopercity.com, or call 954-231-3170.